Hello.
Hello.
Welcome, Veronica.
Welcome, Harrison.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. This is episode... Ooh, I forgot what episode I was at. 65? It's been a while. It feels like it's been a while. It always feels like we've done more, but we haven't. That means we need to do more content. What? Anyway, but this is episode 65 of the NgoVo Convo podcast, where two stupids make it hype.
Right.
That's right. It's hype.
Yeah. I'm right. You're hype. Together, we're right and hype.
It's right that we're hype. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Well, we're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
But I'm one of your hosts, Harrison O, and I'm joined by Veronica Vo. She's right over.
I'm here. He's
My
here.
My screens are everywhere. But yes, she's right. Damn it. But if you're new here, we just want an excuse to talk about anything that ranges from anime to comics, and really just cleaning up our never-ending backlog that we've realized just today.
What backlog?
Don't lie to me. But some would say that is conversing, like
wow,
NgoVo
like
Convo.
NgoVo Convo. Got him.
Super fast today. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Super on top of things. I wish. But you can watch every episode on youtube.com or listen to it as a podcast by searching up NgoVo Convo on your podcast service of choice.
We're on 10 different platforms.
All 10.
All 10.
I feel like we're missing some, but it's okay.
You can just let us know.
Easy. But in this episode, we're going to be talking about a not as long title, but it's long enough for me to not remember how to say it. Isn't it just The Devil is a Part-Timer?
Yeah.
Exclamation point?
Yes. Exclamation point.
So we're only going to be watching or talking about season 1. So if you haven't finished season 1, go ahead and watch it. It's all on Crunchyroll. I think it's also on Netflix. I don't remember. I think I saw it. It used to be. So now, okay.
Yeah.
Old info.
Crunchyroll. Now on Crunchyroll.
That's it. Easy.
That's it. And season 2 is currently airing.
Which is why we even started this.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that later. Don't worry about it. And by the way, we're sponsored by Anchor. And we'll also get into that later. Veronica.
Harrison.
You know how we start stuff. You know how we always start things.
Yeah.
What are your non-spoiler thoughts on this series so far for season 1?
Well, I didn't know what I was getting into, and then I watched the first episode, and then I got a little confused. I thought so we were talking about this outside of a different episode, and I was just like, Harrison, I thought I pressed on the French dub, and I started watching it, but I was wrong. I was in the correct dub. They were just speaking in French, and then
it was French, or is it just some random? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's French. Yeah, it was French.
My God. Well,
yeah,
that's kind of
in a weird accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, oh my God. I started panicking and sweating. I was like, oh God. I looked through all the lists. I was like, okay, where's everything?
Yes, because then I watched later and I had that same issue. But if you actually thought about it, the intro was in Japanese.
Yes,
and then when they started talking was in a different language. So I also went back. I'm like, no, this is the one.
Yeah.
And I replayed it. I was like, oh, it is Japanese because they were doing the intro in Japanese. So
not us not paying attention to the intro.
We were so hands off that the moment they started talking, I was like, okay, I need to pay attention.
French.
What just happened?
And so the kind of the history behind this is that season 2 started, but it took them 11 years to get season 2 airing. And so I was telling Harrison, I was like, Harrison, look, this aired back in 2013 when we were in college. Let's watch it.
11? Isn't it 9 or something? Because we're in.
Or was it 9? No.
Yeah.
9.
Math is hard.
Wow. Yeah, it is. In the morning. Shit.
Hard.
It is 9. Oh, my bad. Awkward sipping now. No. But basically a long time for season 2 to reboot itself. And this is the second anime that has gotten a season 2 much later than when season 1 aired. Yeah. I think the other one was Classroom of the Elite or something. That's also another one where season 1 and 2 were about 10 years apart. But also, I did not know that this was going to be an isekai. I don't know why I didn't think about it like that. Because I was like,
isekai, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, what's the devil gonna be doing part-time? And then I was just thinking, I was like, this makes sense. Got it.
Yep.
I was like, got it. Brain did not think about French.
Connection has been made.
Connection has been made. Yeah, I think it was pretty quirky, pretty fun. It was very lighthearted most of the time. All the fights were really good. All the characters were really too funny, in my opinion, on their own or with like other people. But yeah, overall it was really good. That's my non-spoiler thoughts. But the French really took it out on me. I was just
took you out of the experience and you like start freaking out.
I know. I was like, what dumb and I in.
Yeah. No, to like go on my end. Yeah, I started off watching. I was like, I didn't know what to expect. And of course that happened to me. And I had to rewatch. The reason why I had to restart, and that's how I found out, was because I missed what they were saying the entire time because I was trying to look around, make sure I'm clicking the right language and all that stuff. Because you know how Crunchyroll does their shit. It used to, they fix it now, but at least on the website, it's before they would always just make random seasons for other languages. Versus now, they just have the setting like most people would and just switch it.
Yep.
Or like Netflix and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I had to rewatch it. I was like, oh, okay, this makes more sense. Oh, now I'm paying attention. Okay, this is cool. I just knew that was going to be a funny show because actually my roommate from a few years ago also recommended to and this is how I remember because I think it was on Netflix or maybe we saw it on Crunchyroll. I don't know. It's some shit.
It was on Netflix.
It was. So at the time it was on Netflix, so that's how we saw it because we would do the typical, we sit on the couch, scroll through, trying to figure out what to watch. And I'm like, I should watch that. That was one of the shows.
And that's the backlog.
The never-ending backlog, yes. So he recommended me this a few years ago, and I think it came out a few years ago before we even moved in together. So it's been out for a while, like 2013. So
since we were in college.
Yeah.
Don't age us.
Too late. I think, and in watching it now, I totally get it. It's really funny. It is just an isekai, essentially, but reversed because they're coming from to us. And I think it was just really funny just to see like these fantasy characters like deal with our real world problems.
Just be normal.
Just being normal, like worrying about rent, worrying about like how to money.
What meals they can have.
Yeah, but like the bottom of the barrel stuff, like it's hilarious. It's just seeing like them like deal with like the normal stuff we do. It's just hilarious. Knowing that these are all powerful beings and they used to like have like they were fighting this war in another and then boom, here we are. So no, I thought it was really fun. I think the characters are just it does feel like a early 2010s show. Like animation wise or like plot wise and all that, like tropes and shit. But I think it was fun. I still think it was a fun watch.
It aged well to me.
No, it did. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I could, like, when I watched it, I was like...
But you can tell it was, like, back then. Yeah.
But, and I just forgot how short it was, actually, because it was only, which is crazy to think, because it was only 13 episodes.
Yeah.
And, yes, I did watch the last episode. Okay. Because the entire time...
You kept saying 12.
I kept saying 12 by watching these wrong. Don't forget the last one. Like in Mungo, which you can watch. Is that season 2?
Yeah, season 2.
Yeah.
That was funny. A mistake that will never be let down for me again.
No, but overall it was fun. I could see how like you can kind of leave it as is at the end because of that break. It just was positioned that way. But there's way more because the manga kept going, obviously. I think it's done, right?
I think it's done.
I think it says to 2020 on the manga side
list. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's done.
Yeah. But overall, I enjoy it. I recommend it if you just want something fun, quick, easy. I mean, now there's going to be season 2, which I think is also probably only 13 episodes, I would assume.
I want to say 12 or 13, but on my anime list it says question mark. And I think as of like 2 weeks ago, it was on episode 4, so they're probably halfway now. Halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. But, yeah. Otherwise, yes, I recommend it because we always say this stuff at the end. When in reality...
We should say it at the beginning. Yeah, I recommend it too.
We haven't been podcasting for like a year or anything like that.
A year and a half? No.
Yeah.
No.
So, otherwise, yes, I recommend it. But any other additional thoughts before we go into spoilers?
No.
No? So, we're about to actually talk about our sponsors instead. So, we're just going to take a quick break to get into that.
On today's episode, we are sponsored by Anchor. It is a free podcast hosting service that we actually use. We've been using Anchor since we've started the podcast. It's because there are creation tools that allow us to record and edit the podcast right from our phones and computers. A huge plus for us is that Anchor would distribute our podcast to all platforms such as Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, and many more. It really is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one spot. Please download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, ANCHOR.FM to get started.
Veronica, wasn't that like a great segue?
It was.
It was okay. It was okay. No,
it was good.
It was okay.
Good. It was good.
Because that was cool sponsors, right?
Wow.
Now, actually talking about spoiler stuff. Overall, okay. How do I go about this? Because it's such a fun show. Honestly, it was really a fun show. All the characters are hilarious, in my opinion. Do you have a... Oh.
Well, they have their quirks. They're
like
really quirky in their own way.
They kind of have a role. It's funny because they kind of do have their roles in a sense.
Yeah.
Where do you have a favorite character?
I really like the hero, so Emilia. But for
excuse me, it's Emmy.
Emmy, excuse me. In this world, she's Emmy. I think she was like super quirky. She was like that kind of like tough exterior gal, and then when she was like typical like hero, like I'm the hero, I'm supposed to save the world, blah 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 blah. And then when she's with the demons or and devils, like her guard is ironically down and she lets them like take care of her or like give her money, and I thought that was just like super ironic and super funny. I think like my next character that I love is Lucifer. He's just like, he was introduced as like the big bad wolf
for like a couple of episodes,
like 2.5 like episodes or something.
Yeah.
But it just turns out he's just this little hacker.
He's not just a hack. He's just a neat.
Neat.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all he is. I was like, dang, what a flip.
Honestly, yeah. But those two are probably my favorite. How about you?
So I actually do like. I like Lucifer the most, just because like he is presented as this big bad almost for I knew it was gonna be a fake out. I knew because I was like, okay, or maybe it could have not been. I didn't know. I wasn't sure. But,
I couldn't tell on my end.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, initially I was like, oh, this is a fake out, but then I was like, oh, but they could keep going because Lucifer. Just to find out like he's just like this huge neat, wants to play video games, just sits on the computer, goes on the internet. I was like, oh my.
He
God.
never leaves the apartment.
It's the reverse where all the neats go to gets isekai'd into the fantasy world, while this one just becomes the neat. I was like, it's the flip. That's why I like it so much. I think it's just funny as like that's just ironic, right?
It is.
So, yeah, and who is he voiced by? Zenitsu?
I think so. I couldn't tell. I don't know if you're gonna look that up.
I am. This is my way of just kind of
confirming.
Yeah, no, it's Zenitsu. It is because there's a point when he was just talking, and then he just talks like it's the flip side where Zenitsu's always crying or like talking super loud, but in this one he's like talking like normal,
like
monotone. But when he screams, I was like, that's him. That's exactly him.
I know he starts screaming when he was like in his like little.
Why do you always do this, man?
Yeah. And it's like demon mode, and I was just like, oh no.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful.
Nezuko, no.
Otherwise, I like Saro, or I like how they like his name too. Like it's Satan, but this I only just found it. They named him Satan Jacob. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's
yeah.
hilarious. They actually went with it, but I think how they portray his character is hilarious, and it's just really good. Like how he just strives to. I also want to just add that I like how they just have a play on like a lot of brands.
Oh yeah, McDonald's.
McDonald's.
What was Moonbucks coffee?
Moonbucks instead of Star, it's Moonbucks. And then like the KFC is something else too.
It's Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. I was like, this is beautiful. I love it. I was
like, this is beautiful.
Oh, man. Do you have a favorite arc section moment?
Let me look. There was one fight, and it was with the it was like right after. What was it? Oh no, it was the time when Amelia's friends were going through the portal.
Yep.
And then they were fighting the priest, I think.
Oh, I can never see Olba.
Yeah, yeah.
Olba, yeah.
Oh yeah, the priest, and then like he like broke the highway, and then Satan was just like, he went into his form, and I was just like, oh, he's beefy.
See, we have similar tastes all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Because my favorite modes were also like it, because it makes sense, right? My favorite modes were like when they gain their powers, and Satan just becomes massive, like, and just huge, and just like, it's really funny seeing he goes from like this like teenager looking dude or lanky dude to like, boom,
it makes beefy Satan. Yeah. But that fight where he was like holding on to the highway, and then like his like younger coworker or his junior like found out that he's Satan. I think that was my favorite. Right? Yeah. She was annoying a little bit.
Really? Okay.
To me, just like a smidge. But that's because I think I felt like her reactions to like Satan and Amelia weren't justified because they weren't dating or anything. She just liked him.
What do you mean? She's the typical like teenage like
I'm good
stuff.
I'm good.
What are you talking about, Veronica? What?
I just didn't feel like it was justified to just.
Can I add that that's why I felt like it was an older.
Yeah.
That's why that was one of the feelings. I didn't find her that annoying, maybe because I'm like, oh, this is maybe back then. This is kind of like the vibe that people tend to go with. So I thought that was funny. I actually thought it was hilarious how she would get upset about little things because they weren't dating. I was like,
because they weren't dating. It was like kind of like one-sided, and then he was like super oblivious to her feelings.
Typical pro tag issues.
Yeah, really.
That's why. No, like legit. This is like those like tropes. I was like, this is old fashioned.
Oh yeah.
It's still like people still use that, and like a lot of mangaka still do that, but I think it just felt very like early 2010s for some reason.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but that was probably my favorite when he like you can kind of notice like the bad guys are like turning like hero-ish for a little bit. I think that was my favorite part.
Yep. Yeah. I do like how the plot is kind of it's that typical like, oh, the bad guys aren't really bad, but then the good guys technically serve a bad organization type stuff, right? Like the church is actually bad and all that.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. It was cool to see like an arc of like all Amelia would see Satan is the pure evil, because that's all they know. It makes sense. Like, they do give backstory. They explain like why at least she has this like unending grudge. Yeah.
Hate towards like demons, devils.
Yeah. Yeah, so that makes sense. I think now just go off of that. You know how the church is bad, all that stuff. And we talked about Emi. We talked about Chiho. How do you feel about the third? It's like the Susan. I can't. Suzuno.
Oh, Suzuno.
It's like the girl that. I remember her name was Crescia in her actual name was Crescia Bell or something like that. Yeah. But like her Japanese name is like Kamazuki or something like that.
I
thought she was like
liked her.
Yeah. I don't know what
She just felt like a side character and not like part of the group, if that makes sense.
But that was like, I think the second half they started integrating her more.
Yeah.
Because it was after the whole Lucifer thing. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, yeah. I liked her. It was just hard to like, I think, pull her into the group. Because you already had at least like 4 people. 4 or 5. Yeah, 4 or 5. So it was just a little hard for me to like stick her in there. Speaking of the apartment situation, I liked how there's 3 men living in one apartment together. And it was just like,
Lucifer's like what, 16? 18?
I think so, like 15, 16? Because he has to go to school. And then like the other 2 just work. One of them's like a house husband, basically. Like Satan's right hand man. Yeah, Ashia. Yeah. And then Satan's like, I'm the manager. McRonald's.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially, yeah. He's just the housekeeper, and then and then Satan's like the breadwinner.
Yeah, basically.
Not that much bread, but you know.
Yeah.
Man.
And it was funny because they played off of the landlord's like scary like bikini photo a lot. And I was just like, are they gonna show this picture? Because we saw like teases of it, right? And I was just
we got like half. I think at most half.
Yeah, at half, like the top half. And I was kind of getting scared. I was like, oh no, they're really just gonna flash us. But they didn't.
Nah.
And it was just something to use against demons to scare them off.
She's still sus, honestly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah, the landlady is like very sus, right?
Like she knows something.
Yeah, because I think there was a moment when it's like, how did you know something? Right?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. It was like in the middle. And it was before Lucifer, I think.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, it just like kind of happened. And I was like, okay, yeah, she's kind of sus.
Yeah, it is.
Know what's up. But, and I guess, do you remember if Satan had like, I thought he had 4 generals, right? Or no?
Yes, he did have 4 generals.
For each, it was like for each quadrant, right? So there's like, we got Lucifer.
And then his right hand man,
Asio,
yeah,
or Ashia. I don't remember. I keep going back there because they have their actual names and then they're like Japanese names.
They're Japanese names, yeah, I know. Yeah. And then there's the other 2 that I don't remember.
Then there's the other 2
we have not seen. Yeah,
because then technically in the map, Lucifer was Satan was in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then cool.
Yep.
Just want to make sure I'm not.
So we've only seen 2 out of 4 of his generals.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like sus of like, how does like the landlady maybe like, know him?
Yeah,
because it just kind of worked that way. They should just let him like live there.
Like, live there, yeah.
So that's kind of convenient.
It is. Also, the stairs, like no one could go down the stairs properly.
Those are long stairs, my guy. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Everyone was slipping on them like every.
Yeah, they're in heels and stuff. What are you talking about?
There's a railing you can hold on to.
Fair.
But no, everyone was slipping.
Fair, whatever. I think okay, and then do you feel like the pacing was done well? I asked this because okay, like the first half was like, it felt like they kept talking about the earthquakes and then finally revealed what those earthquakes were.
Yeah.
And then now the second one, and then the second half was like dealing with an angel.
The angel, the church, basically.
Sariel and the church.
Yeah.
But it kind of felt overarching, right? I was just curious if you felt that way or if you felt like pacing. Or just kind of dry.
I thought it was like good pacing. Like I didn't notice anything like slow about it because they gave backgrounds to like Emilia and then like the generals and like how all those like the church and how everyone's kind of like intertwined together. So it didn't feel too slow or too fast paced for me. I thought it was pretty good. Gotcha. But I will say that a lot of people on the internet, mostly just like reviews I was like looking through, did not like how the plot was like written out. And I don't know if this will make sense to you. Just because they were mostly did it feel to you that it was like a work comedy anime versus like action like isekai reversed type?
I felt like it was a slice of life everyday type thing.
Like everyday
over the action stuff. It just had actual stuff sprinkled in.
Okay.
I think to me the plot was more like just seeing how Satan and his group deal with everyday life.
Yeah.
That's how I viewed it. So if someone tried to view it the other way, I think they're going to get the short end of the stick because there's not that much of that.
Oh, yeah.
It's more of a comedy, in my opinion.
And that's what everyone that had like a bad review was saying, because they were thinking
What's
like...
the flip side?
Yeah, they were thinking flip side, they were thinking action, isekai, and then like, the work and comedy and slice of life stuff would come after.
Yeah, with that title,
the title
definitely gives me that action vibe.
Yeah. As a part-timer, giving you that.
I think that's how my roommate pitched it to me though. He was like, "Oh, it's comedy first, but then there is action." Because I think at the time I was like super into like action stuff, right? And he's like, "There is action, but it's more funny." I was like, "Cool."
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But
yeah.
Who do you ship?
Oh, don't.
Oh, I just wanted to blindside you with this one. I was like, "Who do you ship?"
No, I really like Satan with Amelia, and
really?
I know I shouldn't, because it's like hero versus like villain. But I think they just have.
But it could happen.
It could.
But it could happen.
But they have so much like chemistry.
They have so much history,
So
being
much
like
history
from the construction company. And
working together.
Working together. Or no, they worked against each other. They lost out to that company. I love that story so much. I loved when Ashia gave that story. I was like, that is exactly what happened, but did not at the same time.
Yeah. No, that's who I ship him with.
Okay.
How about you? Who do you
I kind of do. I've been teetering back and forth between Amelia and then Jiho, honestly. I bet you they're gonna blindside us with like Jiho has like some weird like backstory that makes it depressing. You're like, oh shoot, yeah, that makes sense. Why shoot? So going back to what you said, how like you feel like how she feels doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It could just be like stupid. It's just funny, and she could just be that character. But
I just don't feel like it's like very justified. But I understand because she's a teenager, like, hormones, life happens. I get it.
It's great. I know. I bet you like the third one technically would be Garcia, the Japanese.
Yeah.
Because I think there were times when she's like, I pay attention to when someone blushes and that's it.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
So those are the three that I noticed. But actually, the true one that I really do ship for sure is Ashia, and then like the friend, Amelia's friend.
Oh, Amelia's friend. Yes. Yeah. The normal person.
The moment when they just talked, I was like, oh, that's gonna happen. That's
at the cafe, they were just like talking to them.
Oh, she was funny. Honestly, she got funnier over like the season.
She was great.
She got cooler, and I was like, this is great.
Yeah, I loved her. Her little call center buddy.
Essentially. But no, yeah. I think it's so crazy to think how this went from like it was in 2013 and then we just have that break.
Oh yeah, that 9-year break.
Do you think that helps people like us, for instance, where we have this backlog and it makes us feel like we want to watch it out of FOMO, or do you feel like you're just like, oh no, dang it, there's so much more I need to watch now. It's just too much to keep up with. I know how you feel. Can you answer for the general public? Sorry, let me rephrase that 1 second.
I know. I was like, I never feel overwhelmed with my list because I feel like I'm always like catching up to it eventually. Like,
do you feel like that affects like our friend group, for instance, that you're like, oh, you should watch this because I know you'll watch it and you get me to watch it, hence the podcast. But do you feel like that causes? Do you think that may jumpstart it? Because if they haven't watched season 1.
They need to watch
this is like a totally side thing. This is a total side thing. Do you think this kind of thing motivates people to start watching old stuff, quote unquote?
I think so, because if people are afraid of like a 5+ year like waiting gap,
look at Attack on Titan.
Yeah, that I was just gonna like point that out. I was like, Attack on Titan had like 4 years before they did back to back seasons, But I think like animes or like productions, since if something's really popular with just one season out and it's been a while, the pattern has been that they're gonna come back with a season 2 or 3 or whatever it's gonna be. Recently. Yeah, recently.
Back then we did not know. Honestly.
Yeah. But I think if fans push it enough, like social media nowadays, there's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, like if you put it out enough for the world to see, like production companies, like they're gonna want to make it. I think that's what makes people want to go back and watch season 1, hence us like going back and watching it and then like continuing with season 2. I think it's just helpful that there's already been a prior season and you don't have to wait to like watch season 2 because it's like live right now.
And I think access is a lot easier now too.
Yeah, that too. It's on Crunchyroll.
Even like early 2010s, it's always like we watched on Crunchyroll, right? But it was like no. I feel no. 2010s, like, I feel like it was still like Crunchyroll versus like there was like some other sites I can't remember all of a sudden.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, there was like Kiss Anime. Kiss Anime was a good one. Or like RIP. Or like 123 Anime. My fiance would say like 123 Anime or Kiss Anime.
Yeah. I think it's gotten better now, of course, because now it's like more mainstream. And like Netflix is picking up, Hulu picks up stuff. You know, it's all these services pick up stuff.
And I mean, Funimation merged into Crunchyroll, and Crunchyroll has basically, I feel like 80% of all the animes that you're gonna need to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have competitors. Obviously, like High Dive is a competitor, I think.
That's okay. Yeah, that was another one.
Yeah.
But Netflix, I don't think that was back then. That was more recent. If anything,
yeah, that's more recent. But yeah, I think like if companies want to continue the storyline and the manga's done, and there's already been a season 1 that's been out for almost 10 years, like people are gonna want to see more of it, obviously.
Yeah. Right.
So that'll traffic more towards like season 1.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I like this trend of like there was always like the meme was always, I remember seeing on Reddit, it's like all these animes that are like kind of mid getting season upon season upon season, and then you get this ultra banger that only has 1 season and never comes back ever again.
That's still a meme because there's still so many.
No, there's still so many. I'm just I hope the trend moves forward and continues to keep doing this. Yeah. So
no, I totally agree. And like you said, Attack on Titan's a really good example.
Yeah. But I was going to say, like, this one's now honestly a good one for me because I've been meaning to watch this. But now that season 2 is coming out, I was like, oh, that means they're continuing.
Yep.
Because back then it just felt like, oh, it'll always be there. I'll watch it when I have.
Yeah. And I'll read it when it's done. And like,
it's like that thing. But now that season 2 happens, I feel more motivated to actually watch it because now I want to know. Because for me, it's always been the memes. Well, there could be memes. I want to keep up with that stuff. I think it's funny.
You love your memes.
I do. I love the GIF game. But
oh my god.
Yeah. So I was just curious how you felt about that. But otherwise, I think overall I like this a lot. We said it already, but I think all the parts made it fun. I think the villains felt very like cliche and like just very like I want power. I want but it's still
turning against the church, like
but to me it was a comedy at first. Action was second. Yeah. So I think the plot was mainly just to see like how they deal with everyday life,
how they survive as humans. I thought that was great.
I think that's awesome. I think that's hilarious. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I have anything else.
Oh, have you started in season 2?
No, I have not yet.
Okay, I have.
Have you? You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I watched 2 episodes. The first 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the animation different?
A little bit. It got like
updated technically.
Yeah, it got updated, so it just looks cleaner.
Because the poster looks different.
Yeah, the poster. So it looks cleaner, and like less like 2010s. Like
that's what I was gonna ask. I was like, I think the way it looks is like slightly because. Yeah.
It's less like it's less grittier on like the character's face and stuff and on the background, so it's more like everything's a lot smoother. Yeah. So
I was curious. Okay. Cool. Got anything else to add though?
I don't. You don't. Just watch it.
Just watch it. It's good.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Overall. We'd go into more detail, but I think at the end of the day, just watch it.
Hey, in our backlog, check.
Alright, on that note, I'm just going to close it out then. Thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon at NgoVo Convo. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button and notification bell to get updates for when we upload. And subscribe.
It's down here, below me.
Below her. It's below her. Click that. Click that red button. And up. And the thumbs up.
And then the thumbs up. Yeah. Not the thumbs down.
Hit that thumbs down. I won't see it. Just kidding. I have an ad on. Don't do it. Just let us know how we're doing. What do you want to see next? If you want more of what show, all that. Add to our backlog, honestly. That's what we want.
Do you want us to weeb out? Because fall season seems like we're about to weeb out.
Fall season's about to... That's going to be busy.
Yeah.
But other than that, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.